It's going to be my last statement on that topic. But what I find interesting about the whole Young Miami situation and NDIRE is look who support that bullshit. Luke, Trick Daddy, and an army of virtue signaling jellyback matriarchal simp males. And you know why they support it, right? For those who making the money, the Young Miamis and the Luke and the Trick Daddies and all that, they profit off this mediocrity because they sell that debauchery music. They don't give a rat's ass if these young bucks out here blowing each other's head out, or women out here, these girls turning into whores getting whored out and all that other shit. They love that shit. Even from 2 Live Crew back in the late 80s and early 90s. They love it because it's low-hanging fruit. Everything is low-hanging fruit. And they don't care. They go live up on the hill, send their kids to private school. It's like all these rappers and everybody else. They live in their nice gated communities. They're nice communities. They're rich. They're kings of the swamp. They love it. Degeneracy. Just like these race hustlers and Omar and them. Because there ain't no profit in you not being a victim. They getting low-hanging fruit, getting access to women and, access to sex and debauchery. Low-hanging fruit. They love it. Getting rich of your dysfunction. They love that shit. That's what they like. They like the swamp. And the low self-esteem, bottom-feeding males. They love having easy access to women with low self-esteem. Yes, that's what they love. They love that shit. The panda bears love selling garbage. Low-frequency male. A bunch of low-frequency matriarchal males. And a bunch of exploiters. Hustlers and exploiters. They love the whole cesspool of low values. That's what they like. Because you don't have to put in any effort. If you create a complete whore culture, it's just low-hanging fruit everywhere. Everywhere. You don't have to be great at anything as a man. You can just be a low-frequency, low-performing dude that talks slick out your mouth. Running slick game all day long. Because the women don't have no self-esteem and self-worth. They selling their bodies everywhere. So you don't have to be anything to get access, you see? Especially in an environment that's not masculine or patriarchal, where you go to certain countries or certain places, you think you're going to come in there and just go be, pounding out that man's daughter without any serious commitment. Your ass might end up getting stoned certain places. But they have a matriarchal environment, low-frequency activity. Even the Prince of Pan America's in child support court right now getting crucified. Ain't never married none of them damn women. But he lecturing, black queens forever. Snow bunnies never. But he ain't never married none of those black queens. At least with the state. Never. Getting crammed in right now. Talking nonsense on the internet. Getting rammed by the system. By so-called black queens or whatever else. Women are women. I don't give a damn what race they are. But that's a whole other story. Yeah, they like it. Because they can play on the emotions and feelings of black women and make money. Just like the Derek Jacksons of the world. Just pander all day long and make money. The degeneracy makes money. You don't tell me about white America. Don't get me wrong. Racism does exist. But that's not the problem here. The problem is black people exploiting black people for that paper. That's who's exploiting the black people the most. Other black people. In 2026, we've had documentaries after documentaries exposing the rap industry, exposing every game out here. Now they're in partnership. They're sitting down, having meetings, looking at algorithms, looking at spreadsheets, look at money. If you say this or you rap about this, this is going to either make you a certain amount of money or whatever else. There's no, they're in it together. Now, if you talk about the late 80s and 90s, yeah, the industry itself is still jacked up regardless of what. There's grand conspiracies all over the place to basically set that community on fire. We can agree with that. But in 2026, With the internet and all the technology out here and all the knowledge out here, bullshit. It's just people black people exploiting other black people and hiding behind race and blaming white people. But you get your bank account full, destroying other people's kids, but you get your deposits in your bank account every month, and you get to live that 1% life while blaming white people and racism, but you get your bank account full. Look at Omar. He's been living off of black people for almost a decade. I'm right down the street from that school. Tumbleweeds blow through that damn campus. They ain't never open. He run around the world, sleeping with women and walking around like he's some intellectual, getting deposits of your money, lying to black women all day long. That's like, I mean, you know, just another version of Derrick Jackson. Where they sit on the couch. Ain't no superhero come banging on your door. Nobody's coming to save you. Inflation is up. But they living good. You know, they getting that money. They getting that paper. Their kids are flying around the world. Private schools. Their accounts are getting bigger. That income is flowing. But your life is jacked up. You could barely pay the rent, the mortgage, your bills are going up. But they living a good life, lecturing you. Well, look at the white man. Look at the white man. Look at the white man. But what about your ass? Huh? You're the one that's stealing. You know, it's like, you know, they blaming one group of people, but their ass is stealing from you. They're robbing you right in front of your face. They're destroying your kids' mind, destroying their lives. Don't get me wrong. Parents and family are number one. That's the responsibility. But they don't give a rat's ass about black people, or they care about money, paper. It's like a drug dealer. And I know many of them growing up. Most drug dealers are middle-class kids, lying sack of shits. I grew up around them. They were just into the game. Now, I see the young bucks who grew up in the game. I exclude them out. But this guy's through your mama is a damn banker. Your mama works as a nurse. Your dad works at Boeing. But they walk around talking thug shit because they're trying to fit into dysfunctional culture. But half of them dudes it's not about that street life. They just like these rappers. You know? But it's a choice. In 2026, it's a choice. It's a choice. But see, they don't want to talk about that shit. Don't get me wrong. There's things that were set in motion. We can talk about, you know, Lyndon B. Johnson. We can talk about all these things that have been programmed and set people ablaze for fire. But that knowledge is out here. From Malcolm X to everybody else has been putting game out here. Dr. Claude Davis, from everybody else has been putting game out here. The internet is rich with debauchery, with programming, but also with game about what would happen and what needs to be done. They've been beating their gums for years trying to fix this shit. It ain't nothing happening. Now it's starting to happen indirectly, because you got rid of all these government programs, and it forced a lot of people to look towards family relationships and community, which was they supposed to be doing in the first place. But when they dry up all that money, now people are starting to see things clear. It ain't easy to go out here and get, you know, impregnated by Mook and Daydam or whatever else in the trailer park now, and just have babies all over the place when all these programs are drying up, or, you know, all this other stuff that they benefit from, that starts drying up. That works. Trust me. Some people really need it. Don't get me wrong. There are people that really need it and need the help. But generally speaking, these people don't give a rat's ass about anybody else. You know how you know? Look at their actions and behaviors. What do they promote? Debauchery. What do they promote? You being a victim. What do they hate? Self-accountability. Self-accountability. Well, that's why when you talk to me, I'll say, okay, you're right. It's true what you say. There's systems in place that destroy the black community and black people. But let's talk about what you do. Forget about black people, the black community. Let's talk about your actions and the opportunities that you've had in life. Let's talk about you. Forget black people, white people, green people, purple people. What are your actions from the time you've been on this earth? Have you done the best you can do in your life with the effort and energy. You see, when you talk about that, now you talk about individual accountability. You don't talk about a collective type mentality of blame this man or blame that man. Did you do the right thing? And you'll find out that 99% of the time, dudes, their problems and their issues have nothing to do with racism. It's them, their attitude, their effort, their work ethic. Don't get me wrong, there is racism. But 99% of the time, when you deal with dudes one-on-one, have a conversation, and you do an audit of their life, you find out that it's a series of poor decisions and a lack of effort of applying themselves, or just doing crap that are just dysfunctional and detrimental to their own personal success and well-being. When you take away all that shit and you have an individual audit, and I did that one time with some white guy. You know, he was talking this stuff about black people and whatever else. I do it to black people and white people. I said, don't tell me about white and black. Let's talk about you and your efforts. And I find out that he's a damn bum because you can't stand alone as a man. So you're looking for welfare then. You're looking to be superior to somebody without making any effort, huh? You're looking for racial welfare, to feel like you're better than another man. You haven't done any work, dude. You're just a lazy bum-ass white dude. And I had to cook his ass because he's a bum. Because when you take away race and you start holding individuals accountable for their actions and their behavior, they start studying, yeah. What makes you, talk about you as a man or you as a woman. What have you done with your life? Don't talk to me about no race and shit. I want to audit you. I want to audit your actions. You see, when you make it personal about them and their behavior, they don't want to talk anymore because they want to talk about a collective. They want to talk about the actions and behaviors of other people. And that's what black people, white people, any race of people hate. When you do individual audits about their own personal behavior and how it's affected their life. And don't get me wrong, there's systems, there's problems, there's issues, there's designs, there's setups. I acknowledge that, but first let's acknowledge what you do and how you've managed the opportunities in your life. Trust me, I've fucked up some shit too. We all have. But when you do an audit of an individual's behavior, that's when you find out the truth. And I start auditing individuals' behavior. I don't want to hear anything about, yeah, good. That's true. Good. But let's talk about you and how you move and how you operate. That's when you have a different conversation. Then they're going to try and shame you. They're either going to do two things. They're going to use the religious shield. They're going to start quoting scriptures, invoke religion, or they're going to start shaming you. Attack. Personal attack, reverse psychology. They're going to call you all kinds of names. Me, if I'm black, they call me Uncle Tom and all that stuff. Or, a white person is just going to get mad and call me some racial shit or some fucked up shit to distract me from digging into their soul and finding out their effort and their energy and their individual character and behavior. They don't want to talk about that. So when you see Trick Daddy and Luke and all these guys who've profited and made millions off degeneracy, they have a benefit. They benefit from that. Or Omar that profits from lying to black women, or Derek Jackson, all these people. They have a vested interest in debauchery. And so is, all these rappers and everybody else. Everybody has a vested interest in making money off this debauchery. This channel fails, I don't give a rat's ass. Trust me. Peaceful Life is already retired. That's why I'm drinking my coffee here. That's why I can talk even more freely. Maybe years I've had to deal with bullshit, hold your tongue for so many years. But you get to a point where you get tired of bullshit. People are full of shit. Of all races, all creeds. People are full of shit. That's what they are. Many of them. You discover that, especially me as being a Gen X guy, people are full of shit. And you realize that, like, when you do those individual audits, you find out, like, man, they like to talk collectives. And again, beware of that religious shield. Man, the more they quote them scriptures, the more they're full of shit. The more somebody hit me with that Bible thumping, scripture coding, don't believe me. I have my own religious beliefs. I'm saying, okay, let's talk about actions and behaviors and efforts. I will give it to religion later, but let's talk about behaviors. They don't want to talk about that. They want to hit you. They'll hit you about 5, 6 more scriptures. Or they'll call you a name to knock you off track from getting to the bottom of their ridiculous gaslighting. Because the truth of the matter is, the majority of their problem is looking at them right in the mirror. Trust me, I do that self-reflection all the time. I'd be like, damn, peaceful life, you're full of shit today. And I have to say, you know what? And I like to hang around guys. Like some of the guys on the channel, like salute to Kosher Condition and Dan Sparks and the other guy, they'll tell me I'm full of shit. I have people around me that be like, yo, that's about the dumbest shit I ever heard from you. Or what the fuck kind of shit you just said, man? That don't make any damn sense. So I get my checks and balances too. You gotta have people around you that check you when you're full of shit. Sometimes the shit I say don't make no damn sense. But I'm actually really to think about it. You know what? You may have a point there. I see your perspective. Maybe I need to rethink this. Even when people leave stuff in the comment section, I was like, you know what? That makes some sense there. Let me look at this. Let me look that up. Or let me think about that. Let me think about that for a second. You know what I'm saying? I am not beyond. So if you hit me with logic and respect and reasoning, I'm like, okay, fine. That don't make no damn sense. And I think about it. That's a different perspective I didn't look at the thing from. You know what I mean? I look at it from a different angle now. But you can't correct these people that run on feelings and emotions, but they don't care about. See, I'm a man who worked by the numbers. I believe in outcome basis. What is the outcome for the actions and behaviors that you're taking? And 9 times out of 10, the actions and behaviors of people who run and live on feelings is bullshit, garbage. Because they run on feelings. That's why, no disrespect to the ladies, women don't need to be in charge of no damn community. They're going to have bullshit feelings operation. Women don't even like to work for women. You know why? Because they don't want to live in that environment ran on emotions and feelings, and women are petty, vindictive, and vengeful against each other. So they'd rather work for a man. That's true. I get along with all the ladies. Why? Because they see balance and stability, not a dude that runs on his emotions. You think that because I make this channel, women avoid me? Hell no. I'm like the light, and they flock like crazy because they're used to guys bullshitting them because they only care about what's between their leg in terms of getting boxed. I don't give a damn about acquiring their pre-owned. That's not a challenge for me at this age. I'm old. I enjoy being emancipated from, having that drive for that flesh all day long. You know what I mean? Like when you get older, you be like, damn, I understand you young bucks. It gets better with age. Be patient, gentlemen. Control it. Young bucks, you got to get that money up too. You need that 100,000 working while you're asleep. We're going to talk more about that. But that's more, but that problem is that, you got that high testosterone when you're young. You're driven to go out here and chase these women, but chase that money, man. These women ain't going nowhere. You need that money. Money buys freedom. Now, I didn't know what I was saying about materialism. Freedom. I look at money as a way to buy freedom, not bullshit depreciating crap that end up on landfills. Freedom is what really matters, because then you have the choice and control of your day and time. But anyhow, hit the like button. But these guys, it's disturbing. Luke, Trick Daddy, Swamp Dudes and shit. The bottom of the barrel. They like keeping shit at the bottom of the barrel, so they get rich. Yeah, they like that shit. Anyhow, fucking artistic freedom. I don't give a little kids singing that crap, and they don't know you get your ass thrown in the slammer. Anyhow, peace and blessing. Make sure you guys hit the like button. I'm out.